All right, good afternoon, boys and girls. Doc Severson and Mav with you here. Ready, Set Crypto, Ready, Set live session today, Wednesday, the 7th of April. Good afternoon, everybody. Let's hear where you're coming in from. And don't forget to hit that like button. Give us some attention. Get everybody else in here.
How's everyone doing? You guys surviving this little dip we're having here?
Oh, it's the end of the world. There we go.
Yeah, we've appropriately dressed, as you can tell.
Yeah, we got the memo. Today's Blue Wednesday. Hey, folks, welcome aboard. How we doing out there? Let us know where you're coming in from, and we'll get you started here with some awesome coins. All right.
Slow day in the market, slow day in the chat.
Yeah, there we go. All right, now they're coming in. Yeah, I think we got it's streaming. Hey, Rajith, how you doing? Welcome aboard, everybody. Good to see you, folks.
Florida. Hopefully that hopefully you're by Tampa. The whole that reservoir destroying itself or something, something crazy like that.
Yeah, that's it's about to leak into the bay, but the bay is so big that it's just going to ignore it. Hey, Mark, coming in from the San Francisco Bay Area, where my grandfather used to work on Alcatraz Island, believe it or not. Outside of the cages, not inside the cages. Hey, everybody, welcome aboard. Welcome to Ready, Set Crypto. We're doing our Ready, Set Live session today. We do this every Wednesday. And we'll
National
get you on
Beer Day as well.
Yeah. Just north of Fort Lauderdale. Okay, we got Buckhorn in Arkansas. We have Solidus out there. Ellen from Amsterdam. Welcome aboard. Slow day here. Slow day. So what's new in your world, Mav? What's going on in the world?
Well, we've had a little bit of a crypto dip here, but I think we can survive. I think there's resilience in these markets and these assets. So it's okay. I think first thing I can tell everyone is it's going to be all right. We'll get through this. It's not our first rodeo here in the crypto markets here at Ready Set Crypto. But as always, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Good times and bad, and for those who've been around, this is an opportunity for buying. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We'll get into some of the ones I'm watching, some cool opportunities. I think you should check out. So we'll let the stream warm up just a little bit more. Great pumpful day, very nice. We'll let the stream warm up a little bit more before I dig into the little spreadsheet I've got there. But if you want to jump ahead, it's linked in the bio below. It's right next to the finger pointing to it. Free to join, free to look at. Go check it out. But otherwise, we got some more people coming in. Awesome.
All right, we got Patriot Minded. Hey, let us know where you're from in Ohio. This is where we moved from, is from Ohio. All right, we got Chris from Washington State coming in. We have Sean from Niagara Falls. Wake Up World from Northwest Arkansas.
All right.
I wonder if that's anywhere near there's an old steam train line up in that part of Arkansas that I've been on that line before. It's an old
you're really dating yourself.
Yeah, it's an old steam train. No, this is not. It was a relic when I got on it. All right. So, but that was a lot of fun up in the Ozarks. Let's see. Andrew from Australia. Maurice from Memphis, baby.
All right.
Yeah, formerly from Germantown. Let's see, West Virginia. We got Marco coming in from Italy. So, man, spring has sprung here, man. It is awesome. It's almost like summer now.
No more snow.
Absolutely gorgeous here. I am outside as much as I can. I'm building a pub in my backyard. I'm building a pub. I'm going to put one of those big pub signs on it and everything.
Don't tell the local authorities.
No, they can't see it from the front yard. So
they can hear it.
Yeah. So, you know, what's crazy is, and some of you guys will appreciate this, is like for me to buy the really crappy subflooring, the 3/4 inch subflooring, which is really rough. And it's, you know, just almost flaky type plywood. It's that OSB type stuff. That is actually more expensive than me buying really nice maple hardwood plywood. I can buy that for cheaper to put it on my floor than I can OSB tongue and groove. It's amazing. Just all the building supplies out there are just going nuts because of this boom, the pandemic, and just the building boom going on. I mean, we have an economy that's just going lights out right now.
Well, that's what happens when the Fed increases their balance sheet by, you know, a couple trillion, just, you know, checking off the box there. Yeah, everything becomes suddenly a little bit more expensive because it can be. Yeah, I don't think we're truly seeing the effects of it just yet. I think it's going to continue to play out. So should be an interesting year. I think we're just getting started. Yeah, the prices of construction. I would not want to be in that industry right now. I'm sure it's pretty tough.
Well, it's a great time to be in the industry right now because
it depends on who you are. Yeah,
yeah. It sucks to be a consumer right now because prices are just going. Wait for gas to go up. Yeah, that's what's going to happen next. So it's going to be one of these just like cumulative effects that just keeps running around and around and around. What's going to happen to the dollar? It's going to continue to get pummeled. That's what's going to happen. Oh, hey, yeah. We got Crypto Coop from Texas. Man, you've relocated. So formerly from the People's Republic of California, now from Tejas. All right, we got Sydney. We got, let's see, where else? Let's see, Joe 7-Pack, you're welcome to come over for a beer. How long until alts rebound? Well, one thing that has to happen for alts to rebound is the BTC has to stop going up. It has to go sideways for alts to have any kind of a chance to go anywhere, unless you can get them through some kind of tether or a stable coin or something.
Yeah, it will happen though. I think this is still very much the early season for altcoins to break out. I think there's still a lot of good catalysts for, you know, driving that sort of growth and some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. So let's dig into it. Got a few to talk about with you guys today, but I think it's going to be kind of fun to talk about as well. So let's dig in. For those who want to join along, for those who haven't been on our streams before or just need a reminder, this whole little spreadsheet here is free for you to view on your own device. Just go down in the bio below, look for the little finger pointing at it. That's where we host it over at ReadySet.Vision, our new platform, free to join. So yeah, if you'd like to take notes or, you know, just get this information for yourself, it's right there. But anyways, so the sort of theme I went with today, and one of the areas that now that NFTs are sort of cooling off, and now that we're getting some, there's volatility in the market, there's some uncertainty. It's about where things are going next, what's going to happen, where should we be looking. I'll zoom in for you guys here so you can see a little bit better. Oh, maybe that's too much. But one of the areas that I've been talking about recently in a couple of the streams, but I really want to focus on today is these ones called launch pads. So Polkastarter is the one that you're probably familiar if you've been on one or two of the streams recently that I've talked about. This is one that I think is doing some really cool things. And one of the reasons why I was so just in love with the project when I first saw it is I saw it as a very natural evolution of the ICO model. Whereas before it was, you know, just kind of, it was pump and dump by design. It really just was the worst of all possibilities. And yet greed was just so rampant back in 2017 that no one wanted to state the obvious, and that it was, very shady. Lots of rug pulls, lots of people walking away with a lot of money, and a lot of people walking away with nothing because they had it stolen from them. So lots of really bad stuff. Clearly the ICO model, I think, has gone the way of the dodo for the most part, but that doesn't mean that it was inherently a wrong idea. It just was flawed in its operation, its design. So along came, the IEO, and we talked a lot about on this channel the STO, and these were sort of better versions of the ICO with different purposes. There's been some other versions of crowdfunding, crowd raising vehicles in the crypto space, but one of the ones that I'm seeing now that we're kind of solidly into this new generation of DeFi products and, very cool ideas being thrown around, is this idea of having a launch pad, having a almost pool of people coming together to launch something through a decentralized, sort of operation, and to have things like auctions built out of it. Some of the other ones that I talk about here in the spreadsheet is things like Trust Swap, which is going to add, or it's going to operate more like a VC sort of early stage startup platform where you can get in. Or some other ones like, Lpool was another one that was doing sort of pooling stuff. Or we've got Bounce, which is going to be focused more on kind of crowdfunding, crowd raising on NFTs. Very cool stuff. Lots of really great ideas. We talked about Unicrypt in a previous stream on this one as well. So I'm bringing back a lot of these ones that I've talked about previously on these streams, but I think this is one of the best new areas, best new segments, categories, if you will, of the crypto space, because I see so much breaking out of this. This is just the natural evolution of what the ICO kind of brought forth, right? It was very, very hot sector back then, just in the ability to raise a ton of capital in a really short amount of time. And so to do that in a better, more organized, possibly better regulated sense, I think is definitely going to be one of the things we are going to see coming out of this. That also plays into something I've seen, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but Ripple and the SEC are obviously duking it out in court right now. And we've seen a little bit of a Ripple bounce as the judge presiding over that case gave the team representing Ripple ability to look through the SEC's documents on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And right now, I can't really say whether or not it's going to go towards Ripple's favor. But what I can say is that the SEC are just kind of the policemen, right? And if it comes down in Ripple's favor, we're still going to see more regulation in the space. Everything is definitely moving that direction. But what I think is going to be the long-standing benefit of this space is that it's growing up. It's getting recognized. It's going through the legal processes and the sort of regulation that it needs. And so that's where things that are speaking to that, I think, are the future of the space and where we need to be looking towards, especially during down periods like this, where we want to be investing in the sort of projects that are going to survive and are going to thrive once we get back to a more bullish sentiment environment. So I digress a little bit here, but wanted to make sure that it's very clear that the things that I'm seeing right now, the sort of projects that I think are going to be part of that next bullish wave are the ones that are uplifting the sort of, risky ventures, the sort of startups that we see a lot in the space. And that's where I see stuff like Paid Network, things like Trust Swap, MantraDAO, Bounce, Launchpool, Unicrypt, Polkastarter. These are all launchpad projects that I think are doing some really interesting things. I'm going to ban this guy who is spamming our chat, please. Okay. So let's also talk about a couple of ones that I think are also doing some really interesting things that are also included in this list. 1inch is one of them that I've talked about a lot on this. They're doing some really good stuff on exchanges and just very, very interesting stuff that they're doing with order routing. Another one I think is doing some really interesting things right now is NKN, which was one of the ones back in 2017 that was sort of a darling because it's doing decentralized internet stuff, Web 3.0, very cool, very, new age kind of stuff. And I don't know if you saw the news, but there was a fire that took down like 3.6 million websites, I think yesterday. And so having a decentralized internet isn't exactly going to fix, node problems, but it is going to help with reliability and especially like top down regulations that are meant to just cut people off from information sources like the internet, or like the sort of access to information that we all know is very good for both just our individual freedoms, but also our ability to participate in an economy. So it's, I think, very cool to see projects like NKN, even if it's, maybe not the next big thing, it's still part of it, I think. And definitely one that is breaking out today. I think it's up like 40%. So that's going to be kind of some of the ones I want to talk about today. There's about 12 or so on this list. If you want to get more information, again, the link is in the bio below. I want to keep things kind of short today because I think definitely during down periods, it's a lot more imperative that we just kind of address what's going on right now. We look at sort of macro level, like what's going on with the charts, and is this a buy opportunity, or should we, kind of ladder down and, maybe DCA a little bit at this point? All very good questions. But right now, I see this as an opportunity zone. I see this as just natural volatility of being part of the space and the larger markets of what's going on. So, Doc, if you want to, maybe let's talk a little bit more about the charts and what you see for the market side.
Okay, let's swing over here and take a look. So let's try that again. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at Bitcoin versus the US dollar. Isn't it amazing? It's like if you have 2 straight days where the price is not going sky high, people start getting nervous. This is just another consolidation pattern, and actually this could be viewed also as an inverted head and shoulders pattern. You can see a little bit of a pattern here. So I think at this point, well, before I get going here, I do want to say one thing, and this applies to everything that you can measure through price. You're not going to get movement unless somebody's in pain. No pain, no movement. The way that price moves is you got to get somebody that is in pain. And usually when we have price movement to the upside, it's because we're getting a short squeeze. We have bears down here, which load up on bearish positions, and all of a sudden the institutional bulls step in and squeeze them out to the upside. And the same thing happens in reverse. When everybody chases after a move up at the top like this, like recently, this is when institutions will take profits, and all of a sudden the bag holders are the ones screaming out in pain, and they're selling off as the price goes down. So if we want the price to go higher, what we've got to do sometimes, in fact, I'll say just about every time, to go higher, you need to go lower first. You've got to build up that negativity in the market. You got to get everybody on like Cointelegraph writing negative articles and is this it, and that kind of mentality. And that's where you'll see the bottom. So what we might need to see is the price coming down to either 52,000 or so, the bottom of this trend line, or maybe as deep as about 48,000. I think that's going to be the extent of it. There's a fairly large high volume node at this level here. So 48,000, I believe, is going to be the end of this. So I definitely have a limit order. I tried this before at 42,000, got within inches of getting a fill. My limit order is at 48,000. And something else that I want to show you guys here is if we jump over to Ledger X, what I can also do is I'm selling puts right now, and this is described in our newsletter. I'm selling puts at the 50,000 level. And right now I've got the offer, the current offer in there I'm waiting for, and I'm awfully damn close to getting a fill in here. So this is a way to get paid for the pullback. And that obligates me to buy one contract of BTC, which is 0.01 BTC per contract at 50,000. So I get paid as soon as the trade goes into play, and that helps drop my cost basis. So selling puts is the very best way to dollar cost average into this market and to be able to get paid for the pullback. All right, so that's one way to do it. The other way to do it, as I said, is just put the limit order in at levels that you think are considered to be value. Right now, 48,000 is a value level. So if the price comes down here to 52,000. I'm definitely going to get filled on that put option. Get that credit from there, drive my cost basis lower. Right now, I don't see any problem with this. There's no problem. There is a lot of energy, though. A lot of energy. So the next move here is going to be pretty darn strong. Pretty strong. We're getting this nice linear movement from Bitcoin. Okay, so that's Bitcoin versus the US dollar. Again, this is 2 days down. Okay, let's step back from this, take a deep breath. It's no worries. Now, a lot of times when you'll see a breakout like this is Ethereum, guys. When you see a breakout like this that goes above a known resistance level, in this case, like 1900, a lot of times when you see a breakout, this is when everybody jumps on board and the institutions know to take profits into this level, and they're going to wait until this thing drifts back down. Quite often you get a retest. This is called a back test of a resistance level. So that could be anywhere from 1900 down to 1800 in that area. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this pull back down. That again is going to be an opportunity. And if you can do this on Deribit, you might be able to sell put options on that as well too. So Ethereum looks pretty good. Right now, all we're seeing is actually, for not panicking, this is just a high and tight consolidation. This is all very good. Okay, looking at some of the other ones that people were asking about, there's an awful lot of red ink out there today. I'm not going to worry about every single coin. I think people were talking about Theta. Theta is the one that folks were talking about today. This is a nice consolidation. That's looking really good. Longer term, the volume is good here too, as well, right? So that's good. Let's see. We had, I think, a question about, well, here's Decred. We almost want to keep an eye on Decred. This one is just a monster, right? It's allowed to pull back from time to time. This is a one-day pullback so far, and somebody's already buying the dip. I think somebody was talking about AAVE. Let's see if I can find that one. I know it's on my watch list here somewhere. There we go. All right, so AAVE, this is a larger time frame consolidation. Just a big symmetrical triangle pattern. So what you're going to have to see is you're going to have to see a break above 400 on really good volume for this thing to reclaim. And so we did have pretty good volume here. The volume is starting to increase. So that looks good. Okay, let me check the chat here and see if you guys have anything else you want to take a look at. All right, somebody's talking about Hollow Chain. Let's see if I can find it. If I can't find it on here. Okay, so let's look at this versus just Bitcoin. This is a daily chart. Again, this is a nice, let's go out to the weekly chart and see what's going on with this one. All right, so this one's building out of a nice base. And what you're seeing here is just your standard fib retracement. If we throw the fibs on here, if we take this one from the bottom up to the top, we're getting a 38.2 retracement, which is really standard for this. Now, this is in exhaustion on the weekly chart. What I would expect to see is this thing kind of setting up a range and maybe another, either a flag or a triangle setting up here for the next several weeks. I would not chase this one. Don't chase this one. This is a very low probability going after Hollow Chain. Okay, let's see what else we got there. So that was Seb. Ramp token. Where do I sell puts? I sell puts on LedgerX, or you can sell puts on Deribit. Since I am a U.S. citizen, I have to use LedgerX. I cannot use Deribit. Okay, let me see if I can find Ramp token. I am not familiar with Ramp token. Let's see if we can find it. We'll do Ramp versus BTC. All right, this one's really new, and I really can't do any charting on this thing. This thing is so new, there's just nothing out there. So unless I'm on the wrong exchange, this is on Binance, so Ramp token doesn't, not that much to it. All right, so let's see VeChain, okay? And we'll do, I'll do two more, and then I'll throw it back to Mav here. So let's see if I can find VeChain on here. I know it's on, okay. I like this one a lot. This one's really good. And look at this consolidation. When you have the market doing this kind of thing, when you have any coin which is breaking out from a triangle and doing essentially what it's supposed to be doing, this is all good stuff. So it's in what I call quiet and trending. linear behavior to the upside. Don't chase after it here. Wait till it sets up for the next break. So it's going to set up the next pennant and watch the break from that. Okay, so that's VeChain. Let's see. I'll do one more hex I'm not familiar with, so I'm going to go over and see if I can find hex. We're just going to do this through the US dollar. And this is a really, this is a very liquid coin. I can tell just by the way that the price action works on this one. So this is, you know, versus a 2-cent coin. So, you know, it's starting to build a base, but I would say this one is still very speculative. Okay. So I'm going to throw it back here. We're going to go back to the both of us. If you guys have anything that you want to take a look, I'll just answer in the chat window. Meanwhile, we can answer any questions that you guys have and go from there.
All right. Yeah. So guys, for those just tuning in, really appreciate if you hit the like button. Just helps us get ranked higher, beat the awful YouTube algorithm. Yeah, we'll take a couple questions here, talk about a couple coins, and then we'll probably get out of your hair and I'll let you get back to National Beer Day. Maybe go enjoy one on us. Let's see. We talked about Cody last week. It was one of the ones on our spreadsheet. So definitely one that I approve just from a fundamental perspective. I think they're doing really cool stuff. Let's see. Phantom was definitely a darling back in maybe a year or two ago. And then it sort of dropped off the radar and then it just blew up a couple months ago. So I still think it's a little bit, needs a little bit of time to consolidate. But yeah, I think it's one that still has some legs on it for sure. Let's see. What else we got? XRP. I won't be touching XRP right now. It is obviously blowing up. It's also obviously doing lots of things right now. But until their court case is definitively settled, I mean, it's looking good for them right now. But at the same time, I don't think that battle's truly over just because they've gotten some wins. So it's going to go on for some time. And it doesn't even really get to the heart of the criticisms I had about XRP, Ripple, notwithstanding of them being a security or not. I think there's still a lot of issues at hand, but that's not to say it's a bad project or bad token. It's just, I think other projects do things better. And there's a lot of really hyped up people that don't want to tell you, you don't want to hear no about it. And I'm not one of those people that are going to be tribalistic about any coin. So I'll tell it like it is. All right, guys, let's see what else we got. Polygon is another one. Or there was a request to look at the charts for Matic. That's just another one that I've featured as well. I think they're doing some really cool things. They're sort of the Polkadot of Ethereum. Yeah, just from a fundamental perspective, I think they're definitely interesting. Yeah, that was a great point about 1inch, Engine, OGN, and NKN all getting listed on Coinbase Pro on Friday. If you go back to last week, we talked about some of the projects that are having like big updates, big announcements, releases, whatever in April. And so definitely featured a couple of those. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some of these. Some of these are like Zilliqa versus the US dollar is actually a nice looking chart. It's doing a nice job of just sort of inching higher, kind of grinding higher. It actually looks pretty good. XIN, I cannot find that. If I can, I can't find much of a chart. If it's not really in the top 50 cryptos, it's not going to be something that's really all that chartable, right? It's going to be fairly illiquid. It's going to have a lousy looking chart. You're making a decision based on fundamentals or just speculation to begin with. So it's not something I can do on charts.
Yeah, there's been some questions about Hedera Hashgraph or HBAR. I'm really conflicted on that one. I've met some of the team members from Hedera, and I don't think it's a bad project. I think it's got a lot of interesting things. However, they're dealing with proprietary technology that they don't want to share, kind of is antithetical to the whole blockchain notion. That's not a dig on them. There's a lot of companies that do that. you know. um, but yeah, they have a lot to do with interoperability, scalability, a lot of the things that I think are really relevant in this day and age. So for them to be at rank 50 and, for example, Polkadot to be in the top 10, I'm not going to say that's a disparity. I think there's a lot of reasons why people like Polkadot, and there's a lot of reasons why Hedera hasn't blown up just yet. Does that mean Hedera is something you should stay away from or see as an opportunity? I'm not sure. I'm still kind of on the fence on it. It's a good project. It's got, fantastic technology at its helm, but at the same time, I don't know if it's going to be able to break through, especially against the background noise that's going on right now. So, yeah, that's a tough one. DAG is interesting. Iota, I've never been really convinced about the whole DAG notion of Iota. That was sort of their big selling point back in 2017. And has it really come to fruition? Have DAGs just like defeated blockchains? I don't think so. I still think there's a lot of relevance for different technologies existing in a cohabitual space. Does that mean that Iota is a trash project? Absolutely not. I think they're doing a lot of cool things, especially when you consider that their original notion back when I reviewed them in 2017 was around supply chain, which I think is, especially after what we've seen over the last year and what we saw with the whole Ever Given, the Suez Canal stuff. Supply chain is at an all-time sort of, would you call it fragility right now? Having an all-time like hard existence right now. So anything that would help them with that, I think is big. So that's why I'm also bullish on things like VeChain, Origin Trail for another one. Okay, wow. A lot of other ones. Okay. Oh, there was someone brought up Syndicator. I think that was awesome because yeah, only OGs will remember that one. That I don't know. I haven't heard much from those guys, but very cool to see someone bringing that up. So thanks for whoever brought that up. Yeah. So Uniswap. Uniswap is where I source a lot of the tokens that I've talked about in the past couple streams. I use a tool called Token Sniffer. It's free to use, really cool to see the volume on Uniswap. And that's how I know that this project is going to be trending, is just because it's getting high trading volume on Uniswap. It's pretty easy. It's where, if you also look at Uniswap's sort of competitors right now, PancakeSwap, SushiSwap, some of the other Launchpad projects that I talked about earlier in the stream, go check out the bio below with the finger pointing next to it for the list of all the projects I talked about. That's where I see really hot stuff going on right now. That's where I am just very bullish on in terms of if we go back to, let's rewind the clock to last summer. DeFi was blowing up, yield farming and all this stuff. That's kind of what I'm seeing in this next summer. Is we're going to see Launchpad projects just taking off, going crazy, because they're also doing liquidity aggregation, pooling of an effect. It's just where the money's going to be, at least as far as I'm concerned. It's where the hotness is going to be. Okay. So, yeah, very, very interesting stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, HBAR is centralized. That's kind of the point I was trying to make, is that it has centralization notions. Is it a bad project? I don't know. I don't think so. But at the same time, is it going to go the distance? I don't know. So we'll see. What about the Coinbase IPO? Are we investing in it, even though it's not a crypto ICO? Frankly, the Coinbase ICO is insane. The numbers are just crazy. Okay, if you dig into them and just see, like, they did what 1.8 billion of revenue last year. That like 90% of their revenue comes from like transactions, and I don't know, something like 60% of that is from, or maybe it's 60% from transactions, 90% is in the US, whatever. The whole point of the Coinbase IPO, the big takeaway that I see from it, is that it is showing that the US is finally becoming crypto accepting. Okay. So that's the big step forward with the Coinbase IPO and listing now on the NASDAQ, that they just got approved. Their S1 just got approved. So it's a big deal. I'm sorry, 1.8 billion in the first quarter of this year. I totally misspoke. Yeah, thank you for correcting me on that. That's insane, especially for this industry kind of coming into the fold and us getting recognized as real players in the financial space. Just that is crazy to see that level of profit with, which is, I'm sure all the banks are looking at that and saying, oh, geez, well, maybe it's time to pay attention. maybe we're a little bit behind the ball here a little bit, especially after the whole Wall Street Bets stuff, and where I see kind of another big trend this year, probably the biggest trend, is the regulation of DeFi. DeFi becoming mainstream and working in a regulated sense. That is where we're going to see tremendous growth, because you can't tell me that, BlockFi and Celsius and Voyager all offering interest rates 7, 8, 9% on your crypto assets and USDC and stuff like that. You can't tell me that people see that and then look at their banks with a 0.1% interest rate and say, okay, hold on, what's going on here? Just the disparity is crazy. I think we're going to see explosive growth in this industry pretty soon here, and it's going to be on the differential between CeFi and DeFi. They're just the bridges that are being built right now, and the sort of milestones like Coinbase's IPO, just big. I hope you're paying attention to that, because it's really pushing the industry. It's the rising tide that's going to lift all boats. So we want to talk about like crypto moonshots here, and we want to talk about like opportunities coming down the road. Also pay attention to the big macro of what's going on right now. Also pay attention to what's going on outside of the space, because it's going to be, people coming into the space because of that, and people uplifting the space because of that. So big deal. All right. Anyways, am I still bullish on SLT? Yeah. Smartlands is doing a lot of cool stuff. I've met the team. I think they're cool guys. Can they go to distance? Kind of a question mark still. But I think they're focused on tokenized real estate. Also, one of the biggest, best opportunity spaces, I think, for crypto overall. Go read David Hoffman's article on Bankless from a couple of days ago, where he's talking about just crypto is going to blow up this year. David is just such a sharp guy. I think one of the smartest guys in the space, and he's pushing tokenized real estate forward with his project. But he's everywhere. I met him at Consensus a couple of years ago, and yeah, he's just really on the pulse of the whole industry, especially around stuff like tokenized real estate and tokenized ownership. That's why we saw NFTs blow up over the last couple weeks here. So anyways, yes, cool. All right, good. I want to get off my soapbox here. I feel like I'm hogging the space here. Doc, what do you got?
No, people are just doing the rapid chat session in here, and just, I'm answering them as fast as I can.
Cool. Well, guys, we'll take maybe like one or two more questions, and then it's National Beer Day, so we got to go, pay our respects. What else we got? Yeah, so NKN talked about it on stream earlier. 1inch we talked about. Definitely big pump coming. Someone just put out a research article talking about the Coinbase pump. They're getting listed on Coinbase, or not. Yeah, is that 1inch? I don't know. Lots of good stuff happening soon here. Let me see what else we got. Doc, there's a request for Digibyte charting. You want to see that?
Yeah, if you guys want to request on a chart, throw me the ticker so I don't have to go hunt
I think
for
that's
it.
DGB.
DGB, yeah. So Digibyte looks pretty good with the exception of, today. So as long as the price does not lose 6 cents, 6-cent level on Digibyte versus USDT, as long as you stay above there, you're staying with the primary trend.
Great point, Sandman, about not your keys, not your crypto, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Be very careful about that. So yes, even though they're saying that they've got high interest rates, understand that anything that is centralized like that, you run the risk. So just look at the opportunity cost to you and make sure that you're investing anywhere, even with just USDC or something like that. Make sure that you understand that it's still a risk on asset. It is still, they should be, if they don't have some sort of FDIC insurance for something, especially something even like USDC, make sure that you just know that going in. But yeah, understand the risks as well.
All right, Veracity versus Bitcoin. I'm assuming that's what you're going to be trading it with. That actually looks really good. That's a nice little bull flag setting up. Looks really strong. So above 7,000 sats is your buy point. So that would be VRA BTC.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've already covered KLV like 3 times already in this chat so far. So
cool. Well, guys, I hate to cut it off here because I know we got a big crowd right now, but we got to go. We're thirsty, so it's time to get off. But for those who just joined in, those who haven't seen the channel before, we're Ready Set Crypto, and we just like to cut through the noise because we're not getting paid to say any of this stuff. We don't invest in the coins or tokens that we're talking about. We want to just give you the flat facts and stuff. No BS, no paid for opinions. We want to just tell you, like it is, especially on days like today where things are kind of crazy. If you're new to the crypto industry and you haven't seen moves like these before, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. In fact, there's a lot of really good catalysts right now for why we're going to see probably all-time highs on Bitcoin.
If you haven't been through a 3-year bear market, any red day feels like the end of the planet. So just understand. Make sure you follow what I always talk about as rule number 1 of risk management. Never open up a trade without already defining an exit point for it. If you just do that one thing, you'll put yourself ahead of every other retail trader that's out there. Mm-hmm. It's a very simple thing to do. It's easy, but it's difficult to force yourself to do because everybody just wants to buy in and just assume everything is going to go higher. Make sure that before you enter something, you identify what your exit is. Piece of cake.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, and do your research. That's my number 1 piece of advice. We talk about on-chain analysis a little bit on this channel and in our service. And one of the things we're seeing right now is that whales have really stopped selling. Long-term holders have stopped selling. Miners are accumulating more, and institutional demand is high, if not increasing. So it's definitely go time for Bitcoin coming up soon. I think it's going to be a breakout summer. April is historically very bullish for Bitcoin, and we're only at April 7th. So don't see this as the end all be all. In fact, I think this is an opportunity, if anything. Don't quote me on that, but if I turn out to be right, yeah, you can quote me on it. But yeah, guys, as always, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Appreciate you being followers and supporters of this channel. Just appreciate you hanging out with us. It's always fun. We always do these on Wednesdays. And if you're not already, come join our Discord. Come join the 10X tribe, which is led by Doc, talks about stocks. Come join Ready Set Vision, where we go into more depth and detail on just what's going on with the blockchain data. We use Glassnode and stuff behind me. And come join Ready Set Crypto, which is our service where we just, kind of talk about this stuff every day. And get educated, get informed, understand what's going on here, see past the noise, trade dispassionately so that you can use this as the vehicle that helps you, get out of whatever you're in towards wherever you want to go. Crypto is just the land of opportunity right now. So we want to help you do it and, have some fun as well. So anyways, guys, as always, appreciate you hanging out with us. Have a great one. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
All right. Tally ho. We'll see you guys.
Go enjoy your beer.
Bye now. Everybody.
Cheers, guys.
See ya.